Bit of a note on Al Hoogie. He had actually had a blood nose in the first turn in that last race, so had blood all inside his helmet, couldn't see where he was going basically. So
in fact, yes, and I've heard this story as well. The blood ended up by being on his tank as well. It was that bad a blooded nose, and it just happened. It wasn't anything of malice or anything that went wrong. Just literally a nose explosion. And wow, what a freak for him! And I'm sure he'll be able to wash that aside and get going. Yeah, that is well, an unusual story at that. But what's it feeling like right out there now, Mitch?
Yeah, track temperature's a lot hotter now. So, and after looking at all the boys' tyres after the first race, she's going to be a fight, and it's going to be a bit of a war to the end.
All right, boys, lights about to go out here in the TT. First of them, who gets the best of the starts? It's Scott Moyer. He's going to rock it into turn one by the look of it. Chasing them all the way will be Dan Medham and Sloane Frost as well.
Yeah, great start from Scotty Moy, exactly what he had to do. Got that CD Vandermeer Builders GSXR 1000 off the line well and truly. A good start from Daniel Medham and Sloane Frost, so those top three contenders last time around are in there. And there's looks to be Al Hoogie there with a good start. So Al Hoogie in fourth place, Damon Rees back there in fifth with Connor London in sixth at the moment. But have a look at that one. Scotty Moyer out in front, Daniel Medham in second, and Sloane Frost in third. So that's a Suzuki 1, 2, 3 as it was in race 2 earlier this morning.
Yeah, just looking there, looks like Alistair Hoogie looking to move up on the outside of Sloane Frost. Couldn't get it done though. What did I say about pacing? These guys are at it. It's like a 5-lap sprint.
Absolutely awesome. Out of the double B and onto this national circuit. Here we go. Scotty Moyer trying to maybe break free or whatever he's going to try and do. He's already a little bit of a gap back to Daniel Medham, then Sloane Frost, Al Hoogie and Damon Rees. Livio Zamperi puts a little move up into sixth place there, so it's at the expense of Connor London. So Livio's looking racy. He's going to dive up the inside of Damo Rees into Porsche and just outbreaks himself a little bit, but he's definitely got nothing to lose. He's in there and he's not trying to look after his tyres. So interesting to see different strategies, and this is going to be an awesome 15-lapper.
Right, out of the sweeper at the bottom end of the circuit they come, and it'll be the Carl Vandermeer Builders Suzuki of Scott Moyer in the front. Daniel Medham will be tagged right onto the back of him. In fact, he's got a little bit of a break, has Moyer for the moment. Then we go back to Medham, then we go back to Frost, then we go back to Ellie Hoogie. Another great ride coming in from Connor London there, mixing it up with the top boys. It's the best I've seen Connor run since he's been on the Superbike. I think he's had a fantastic weekend here at Hampton Downs.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Heading into turn 2, the Foster's construction right-hander, and look at that, nothing in it as Daniel Medham climbs up the back of Scotty Moyer. So that's the 1 and 2 battle we're looking for at the moment. And then Sloane Frost, he's in third place with Al Hoogie all over him as well. So this is brilliant stuff. Exactly what we see in 15 laps of this. This is going to be absolutely brilliant.
Right here at the moment with Mitch Rees, and keep an eye on little bro Demon Damo. How's he faring out there at the moment, Mitch?
Yeah, he needs to pick it up a bit. He's been dropped by those boys at the front, but you know, he'll come good at the end of the race, and you know, the pace is going to be quick for the first few laps, but I think the boys are going to have to watch out for that tyre wear.
All right, there we go.
Looks like even Connor London's got ahead of Damo there, so you better run down and get that pit board out there, Mitch. He's dropped back into
any running.
Absolutely.
Mitch, you mentioned it before in the second Superbike race, or the one previously this morning. We saw there with Medham, he made up all that ground under brakes. He is so good under brakes. So the leaders head out and on to the big hill here at Hampton Downs as we complete one more lap. 15 or 14 to go. It'll be 13 this time round. And the race starting to take up a bit of shape here. Medham getting a little bit closer. Have a look. He has a good long look down the inside as they come down into turn number 1. Don't know if he got the pass done or not. I think Scott Moyer will still lead it as they head down the straight, but it's a little bit closer. And watch Medham this time under brakes as they head down into the Foster's corner, because he's closer than he was to Scott Moyer this time. And they're just putting a little bit of distance between the rest of the runners there in 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, I think actually Dan just did himself no favours by having that dive up into turn 1. He lost all the drive heading out along the front straight. That let Scotty Moyer just settle in there. So Scotty Moyer ahead of Daniel Medham. This is going to be a brilliant little fight to keep an eye on. Sloane Frost there in a good 3rd place. Al Hoogie and Livio Zamperi. What a ride from Livio. He's running in 5th place with Connor London up ahead of Damon Rees in 7th and 8th place at the moment.
Well, 0.143 was the gap last time round, and it looked to me like Medham was a little bit closer. And we'll have a look as they come out. Oh, we got one down.
Yeah, someone down there. That's into Swampy's curve, so he's up and okay, and trying to get the bike up. So trying to catch an update. Can't quite pick up who that is at the moment.
So status quo at the front of the field. Still Scott Moyer in the front. Dan Medham through in second place, and it's Sloane Frost. And we go back to Ali Hoogie, big wheelie for Ali as he heads down toward the Pirelli sweeper at the bottom end of the circuit. Dust clouds flying just on the back stretch of the circuit there. We'll keep you updated with what's going on with that. At the moment, it'll probably just be a localised yellow.
Tony down.
Oh, it's Tony Rees that's come down. Mitch has just told us, so that's bad news for the veteran. Across the stripe they go once again, 0.14 I think it was in the previous lap. Let's see if the gap has changed this time around. Daniel Medham, maybe Medham is doing this one with his head, maybe he's pacing himself, 0.2. So it's extended just a little bit. Scott Moyer from Medham, then Frost, then Hugenbotham, then Zamperi, London, Rees, James Hugenbotham, Jake Lewis, Jaden Carrick, great to see the man from Wanganui back out there, Ryan Yanko, and then Brad Groombridge sitting in 12th place. And really that's pretty good from Brad, because he's on a super stock machine as opposed to a super bike.
Yes, I have a look at the
update of Tony down. In fact, even on that wide angle shot, Mitch literally walked right up to the screen and couldn't tell. Dad was seeming okay. He was going out there to take it easy. He'd be the last person I expected to go down.
You're a racer. You always want to try as hard as you can, and just unfortunate. But hey, you know, it's racing at the end of the day.
All right, indeed. You've had an opportunity to watch Bro Damon. How's he faring?
Yeah, still just needs to find some pace. Be interesting to see how it goes. Like I say, it is a long race, this one. He's not going to win, but hey, you know, those boys at the front are hauling at the moment.
Right, there we go. So the update coming from Mitch Rees, looking out here for Team Rees on the Honda. But it is a fantastic race. Superbikes live and loud here at the Mike Pero Real Estate Moto Fest, round 3 of NZSBK with Brad and Phil.
Once again, Daniel Medham's closed up the gap as they go through the sweeper at the bottom end of the circuit. I don't know if he's close enough to pass as they go out of our camera range. We'll have a look as they come up on the hill, but I tell you what, that Coleman Suzuki will be just a little bit closer. It was 0.2 last time round. Let's see what the gap is this time as the 0.2 again, and the fastest man on the racetrack, 1:35.398, the man in third place, and that's Sloane Frost.
Yeah, so look at the overall best time of the race is a 1:35.2, so that's just off last year's lap record, and so this is really hot pace for them to run in a 15 lapper, so it just goes to show these boys out the front. Scotty Moyer out in front, Daniel Medham in second, and Sloane Frost keeping in touch in third place. So the Suzuki 1, 2 and 3, and these boys are setting a frenetic pace with 11 laps to go in this awesome TT.
And just on that track temperature, 37.9 degrees on the track surface at the moment. And I just wonder if these tyres will drop off just a little bit, and will the pace come out of it. But right now, as you mentioned, Brad, right on track record pace. So these guys aren't hanging around.
Absolutely, yeah. Awesome pace at the moment as we see Scotty into Hypal, Daniel Medham just in behind him, and Sloane there. Good fourth place at the moment for Al Hoogie and Livio Zamperi in fifth. There we go, this battle for 6th, 7th and 8th with Connor London and Damon Rees with James Hoogie on the back of that. So that's a three-way tussle there, but they've got to be careful not to do any big demon moves and cook their tyres. So just a little bit of patience here. But Damo Rees definitely climbed right over the back of Connor London there at the moment.
Tell you what, Sloane Frost is picking up Daniel Medham. I tell you, maybe he's ridden with his head and not his heart in the early going. He's definitely going a little bit quicker than Medham. That's the battle for second and third. He's not close to passing yet, but maybe give it another couple of laps and we will see.
So the update here at the moment as we look out for this field, just fantastic to see, and Phil's doing his calculation on that race between 1 and 2, but talking here with Mitch at the moment, and Damon's made a different tyre choice, which is going to give him the advantage in those last 4 laps. So 11 through 15 are going to be the key laps for Damon, and look at the way those boys, they are, I get the feeling they are pushing it too hard out there. That's going to play in Damo's favour, Mitch?
Yeah, I think, you know, he can maybe run a 4th or a 5th place, but you got to just watch those boys at the front. You know, they're flying. You know, Dan, he's gone past, and he's got Scotty now, and he's just on the pace. So, you know, like I said earlier, he wants this TT win, and he's just going to fight for that. So yeah, it's just a fight to the end, I think. And you know, Sloane's sort of sitting back there. Don't know if he's been a little bit wily. You know, he has got a lot of experience with these the Pirelli SCX tyre, so he's just going to really work hard at that. And I think he might sort of draw them at the end of the race. You know, we'll just have to see how it plays out.
So the update at the moment, Scotty Moyer got him back into the double bars. So Scotty Moyer regains the lead, but Daniel Benham right there. So we've got a great little battle. First and second place, the CD Vandermeer GSXR 1000 of Scott Moyer, and then the Coleman's K Road Gold New Zealand GSXR 1000 of Daniel Benham. A couple of Suzukis out in front at the moment with another Suzuki, the Fujitsu New Zealand TSS Red Baron GSXR 1000 of Sloane Frost in third place. So this is brilliant. NZSBK Superbike Racing as we cross the line, and there'll be 9 more laps to go.
Let's think about this for a moment, because Medham really starting to put the acid on Scott Moyer now. If these two get into a battle, that's going to bring the rest of the field back to them. And if the tyres are starting to go off, there's so many permutations, if you like. There's still plenty of laps to go, and there's 9 laps to go. So we're really just on half distance. So anything can still happen. I like the look of Sloane Frost. I think if Medham and Moyer start to battle, he'll be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they've definitely. Scotty Moyer's going in tight defensive lines, and Dan Benham's still doing his big lunges under brakes. So these guys are definitely putting a lot of pressure on those tyres. So we're not too sure what sort of compound they've picked, but definitely got the pace at the moment. So this is going to be awesome to watch this all unfold.
Just the other position's pretty static at the moment. Still Alistair Hugenbotham in there, Damo Rees in there as well. So too Livio Zamperi, another one that's had a fantastic weekend here at Motorfest. He's really performing well on that Carl Cox Suzuki. But all the interest should be at the front of the field. This is a marathon, not a sprint. We've seen the sprints earlier on, and Scott Moyer called the day. And yesterday it was Daniel Medham, so they're pretty even. The gap last time, 0.220 of a second. Will it be closer this time round? And will Sloane Frost be back in this contest as well? That's some questions that have yet to be answered here at Hampton Downs.
Yeah, looking at Damon Rees on the screen at the moment. So he's definitely got clear of Connor London, and definitely reeling in Livio. So Livio and Al in 4th and 5th, but Damo Rees definitely the one to look for on the track. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of those lap times from Damo start dropping into competitive pace. He's definitely reeling in those boys in front of him. So look for the late race charge from Team Rees, Honda Damon Rees.
So there is 8 laps to go, 0.3, so all my theories are out the window, because Moyer's extended the lead now from 0.2 to 0.3. Sloane Frost, 1.8 seconds off the lead at the moment, and then we go back to Alistair Hugenbotham, Livio Zamperi, as we said. Damo, a 1:36.466 that time. So the top boys still in the 1:35, so they're pushing on, they're pushing hard.
Back here with Mitch Rees at the moment, and looking out for it. Just get some ideas of solidifying his placing. That's looking stronger from Damo.
Yeah, for sure. He's over a second lap faster than the 2 in front of him that last time round. So, he's just got to work hard at that. Yeah, Sloane still sort of sitting there, sort of in that 2-second range. So, he's still in for the fight. Obviously, Dan's dropping back slightly, but, they're definitely having a good fight out there. I'm really looking forward to the end of this race here.
All right, here we go. Courtesy of Toyota Motul, along with HRC, with Honda and Honda Ride Insurance team. Damo Rees out there. Expert comments from Brother Mitch sideline at the moment as we watch this exciting Superbike finale. Who's it going to be? Well, it's too much to tell at this stage. Almost half of it still to run.
Yeah, half distance now as they head down into the sweeper at the bottom end of the circuit once again, and then head up the hill. Just listen to these big Suzuki shriek as they come up over the top of this hill. It'll be Scott Moyer, the boy from Taupo, out in the front. The points leader going in here. He lost that points lead after the DNF in race number 1. That went to Alistair Hugenbotham. Now he is back in the front after the win in race number 2. Medham once again closes up the ground under braking as they go through 1, but he's just not quite close enough. I just wonder. Oh, he has got him by the look of it. Down the big long straight, and that's come from the drive out of 1. They head down into the Foster's corner. Dan Medham, not quite there yet.
Damo's got Livio.
But yeah, indeed, been keeping an eye on Damo. Has he got him?
Yeah,
He's moved up one.
He's taken Livio, and he's right on the back of Al now, so needs to put his head down, just put his fastest lap in. It's a little bit late for the win, but he's definitely going quick.
Well, you never know what can happen. There's a lot of race left, so there you go. Great tactics coming, a different kind of a tactic, so good to see. But there it is, the Scott Moyer show with Dan Medham, Sloane Frost, Suzuki all the way with Yamaha and the Blue Crew out there with Al Hugi. But here he comes. Look out for the Honda Hotshot. It is Damon Rees charging from the pack.
Yeah, looking at that battle, that's quite a nice little battle to keep an eye on. There we go, Al Hoogie just sort of backed these guys right into each other. So you got Al Hoogie, Damon Rees, Livio Zamperi, Connor London, and then James Hoogie in there as well. So that's a full-on five-way tussle. And look at that Demon Damo right on the back of Al now. So that won't be too long, I don't think, before that pass is made. So Damon Rees, brilliant little late race charge as we catch up with our leaders. And less than half a second in it as they head around out of the turn 10 sweeper and up the hill. The two Suzuki boys, Scotty Moyer and Daniel Medham, flying up the hill and ready to tick off another lap, and that'll mean 6 to go. So we'll get to the business end of this New Zealand TT Championship at the moment.
And Damon Rees, as you mentioned, all over Alistair Hugenbosen for the minors for the present time. Still, Scott Moyer controlling this one though. Dan Medham, is he waiting or has he got all he's got to give? Only time will tell. As you mentioned, 6 laps to go here in the first of our TT races. This is the Superbikes. It's round 3 of 5 for the New Zealand Superbike Road Racing Championship, and it is the Suzuki 1-2 at the moment.
Yeah, so Dan's got up into, and we got it done into turn 2. So we've got a new race leader. Daniel Medham is now our new race leader with 6 laps to go, and got his head down on the charge. You can see how aggressive he's riding that Coleman's a K-Road Suzuki. So we update a new race leader. Daniel Medham has got it done into the lead, and he leads into the double bastard with just 6 laps to go. So a perfect race management from Daniel Medham at the moment.
And just look at this bunch, they've started to close up the gap and behind as well. So with 6 laps to go, it's the international circuit, so it's nearly 4 kilometres around. It's still anybody's race as far as I can see. Will there be a major drop-off on the tyres? Here they come through the DB, out onto the existing part of the circuit now. Now Scott Moyer becomes the chaser, and Damien Rees still all over the back of Alistair Hoogie as they head through the dipper. Race leaders coming up the hill once again. Is this the winning break for Dan Medham?
Yeah, looks like Scott got a good drive. So Scotty's got a really good drive out of that turn 10 sweeper. So there's going to be very little in between it as they come across the line.
Look at this, they're side by side. Medham holds on to it just from the better braking, I think, going into one once again. But Scott Moyer's right there. He's not going to be put away with just so soon. And there's still plenty of laps to go. 5 laps to go as they cross the stripe. There's 15 lapper. Now you're seeing the guy that burned all his matches early on, maybe starting to struggle just a little bit.
Wow, there we go. A lot of the race to look out for, and I look at that Damon putting all the pressure on. He's doing some hard work, but that gap then to try and catch up to Sloane. I think Sloane's got the most tactical race out of any of the guys because the others are burning more rubber. That's the way I get the feeling, and he's ready to pounce. And even though Damon might have had a better tyre choice, that's still a big deficit for him to make up just to get on to Sloane, Mitch.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. You know, he's the best he can do is a 4th, unless something happens to those boys at the front. You know, the Dan and Scotty are just in another league today, and like Sloane's just sitting there. He just that's where he needs to be. He just needs to sit there for the championship. But hey, they just got to keep fighting away at that. It's good to see that battle back with Damo and Al and them. Yeah, it's really awesome racing there.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, just don't keep an eye on the 2 in the front, folks. We know that's cool. And looking out for Sloane in 3rd place, Suzuki, the trifecta all the way. Remembering, of course, winning 12 of the last 13 years of New Zealand Superbike Road Race Championships. Let's see whether they can bring home the 1, 2, 3. But some great racing going on in that next battle as the charges on. Let's check it out with Alistair Hugenbosen, Damon Rees, James Hugenbosen to add in there. Olivio's gone back 1 to 7th, and then looking out for Connor London, yesterday's 3rd place hero. He's in there for the top 9, and look out for Jake Lewis, part of Yamaha Blue Crew, as our top 10 rep.
0.15 was the gap last time round. Is it going to be closer this time as the leaders head up over the stripe once again? 4 to go in the TT. One of the most prestigious titles to win in New Zealand motorcycling national championship contentions. It's either national title, it's a TT, or it's the Grand Prix. We've had the Grand Prix. This is the last major one before the national titles are decided, and who's going to get it? Is it going to be Medham? Is it going to be Moyer?
Look at that gap just sneaking out. So Daniel Medham got the head down and charging, and definitely just slightly dropping Scotty Moyer there. So that's the update of the moment with 4 laps to go, and just a little bit of a 10 or 12 bike length advantage already to Daniel Medham. So keep an eye on that one. Sloane Frost and a lonely old ride in 3rd, and Demon Damo Rees is up into 4th. So he's got the pass done on our Hoogie. So that gap, like Mitch said, probably a little bit too much of a bridge to cross for Damo, but a good little late race charge. He's up into 4th place at the moment.
Yeah, and he's starting to pull away, isn't he, from Alistair? That's that battle just off the podium for the moment. 0.7 was the gap last time round between Daniel Medham and Scott Moyer. Moyer's got the head down, but so too has Dan Medham as they work their way out of the double B and head towards the high Paul hairpin. The race leader's already into the dipper and heading down the short chute. If you're watching from down there, you'll see it. Sloane Frost just dropping off the pace. Maybe he's going to fall back into the clutches of Damon Rees. 3 laps to go this time by as they head up the hill now.
Yeah, have a look at that gap. That gap was just under 7/10 of a second last time round, so I reckon that's definitely out to near on a second. So on 0.8, so he's taken at least another 10th out from that lap round. So Daniel Meadham definitely the man on the charge at the moment. Sloane Frost a further 7 seconds back, so you'd say it's a 2-horse race at the moment. And then look for the update back to this little group. Demon Damo Rees has get that 4-pack already, so good stuff from Demon Damo as we catch up with the leaders. They're heading around Swampy's Curve at the moment, so a massive advantage in this TT. All still to play for with 3 laps to go.
All right, so Ty Weird, the significant factor, but you heard it from Mitch. He said he didn't think that Damo had a chance, but I tell you what, he's increased his buffer. But I tell you what, look out for Connor London. Connor fighting his way back. There's the 7th, but James Hugenboosum under threat. The 2 brothers out there together. Of course, they come from 2 different teams. One on the Yamaha, the other on the Suzuki. So all go there in the family rivalry. But I tell you what, Connor London appears as if he was dropping right off, but he's fighting back and looking good at the moment, Mitch.
Yeah, Connor's on charge there. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he gets through these last few laps. Damo just posted his fastest lap in the 35s, so he's definitely got the pace for the front, but just made those mistakes early. Couldn't get up the front, couldn't get in there. It's good to see. He's caught Sloane a second and a half that last lap. Probably will fall a little bit short unless Sloane's having some massive tyre dramas out there.
Well, and that's the part we don't know, and these are the most crucial last laps. So let's bring it home. It is Daniel Meadham, a time of 1:35.063. He's in front of the field. He's got the fastest time. He's got the TT title on the tip of his fingers, but he hasn't yet got it in the grasp of his hand.
Now up the hill they come. Meadham in the front from Moyer, then Sloane Frost, and I don't know, I might be seeing things, but I think the gap between Sloane and Damo is starting to close at quite a rapid rate of knots, so maybe there is a problem for the man from Wellington. We'll keep an eye on that as the leaders head up over the top. There's Sloane Frost. Now what's the gap back to Damon Rees? He'll be the next bike over the top on the Honda. There he is, bike number 92. Then we go back to Alistair Hugenbosen. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he's got it back to a 10th, 0.854, the gap between Scott Moyer and Dan Meadham. Dan Meadham has said all along, hasn't he? He wants this title. He absolutely wants the TT. And what you want, maybe sometimes you get. 2 laps to go.
He told me, in fact, the motivation, he'd watched that video of last year's finish so many times the last week. That's got to be the ultimate motivation,
Yeah,
Phil.
absolutely, absolutely.
What did I do wrong?
Yeah, folks, if you weren't here last year, Robbie Bugden from Australia just came and put on one hell of a show, didn't he? That was awesome.
Yeah,
and just got the lead at the last lap of the last... Oh, it was just sensational.
So Dan Meadham, the update into the Porsche dipper, so no troubles with his brakes that time around. He leads out of there on the short chute, heading towards turn 10, the sweeper, so nice and neat and tidy out of there. Scotty Moyer, he's just sitting back in 2nd place and just looks like he's got no real answer for the pace of the Coleman's K Road. Gull New Zealand man, so what a weekend so far. Heads out of turn 10 and up the hill, so ready to receive the white flag, 1 to go, and 15 laps. It seems to have just flown by. So this TT, white flag out, ready waiting, and there it is, and that gap's maybe sneaking a little bit lower, so that's down to 4/10 of a second. So this is not done. Last lap drama here at the TT with Scotty Moyer heading down the laser electrical underbridge. He's right there in touch with our leader, so we'll keep an eye on this one.
Yep. Well, we said that Dan Meadham was the last of the late breakers, but Scott Moyer's got a bit of fight in him here as he closes up the gap as they head through the Foster's turn number 2 here at Hampton Downs. Dan Meadham, has he got any tricks left in the bag? They work their way through the international section of the circuit, through Swampy's Curves and up into Kev's Carousel, and then on to the Double B. And this is where he had a little bit of an advantage earlier on, but Scott Moyer has got the bit between the teeth, and he is aggressive.
Here through the Double B they come at the moment, and Daniel Meadham just maintaining that gap. But look at that, Scotty Moyer right there. So this one's going to come down to the wire. They head out of there and on the run to Highpool. So it's not quite close enough to have a move there. So his only other real option is either a dive into the Porsche dipper or a try and drag race to the line. This is where Robbie Bugden got it done last year, but heading into Porsche, there's not a lot in between them. We can see the back wheel right in his visor. So Daniel Meadham gets out of there on the short chute. Scotty Moyer's going to go right out nice and wide. So we'll look for Scotty Moyer to try and sweep round, get a wide line, get a good drive out of turn 10. There's not a hell of a lot. There's about 3 bike lengths in between them as they run around turn 10. And here we go. Scotty Moyer getting the good drive out of the corner, and it's not much in it at the moment. He's right up on the back wheel.
He'll use the drafting as he comes up the hill. Now can he pull out and take the win? Scott Moyer looking for the race win. Does he get there? No, he doesn't. Daniel Medham gets the win from Scott Moyer, but it was so close. He made up such a lot of ground in that last lap, did Scott Moyer. So fantastic stuff in the Superbikes as we've come to expect. Sloane Frost, a pretty lonely old race in 3rd place for the defending champion. And then we'll go back to Damon Rees, the next one across the line in 4th. Then it was Alistair Hugenbosom in 5th. James, his brother, right behind him. And then Connor London, another top 10 performance from him. From Jake Lewis, a guy we've hardly mentioned all weekend. And then Ryan Janko and Livio Zampieri. Jaden Carrick from Wanganui was in 11th. Brad Groombridge through in 12th place. So as on their warm down lap, folks, give these guys some encouragement. They've had a hot, sweaty job out there. 15 laps. They'll be spent physically and mentally, but they can hear you cheering. They can see you waving, so give them heaps as they come back to the garage. That's the first of our TTs done here at the Mike Perra Motor Fest. There's a whole lot more to come.
Yes, indeed it is, and we're going to be talking to them down there. So if you're on the infield, please come over and watch the Sill where it's about to be presented with our TTs. Final word there goes to Mitch. Damon did enough, but not enough.
Yeah, he's enough to be in the hunt, which is fantastic. You know, not a DNF, you know, still in the championship fight. That's all that really matters. Awesome ride by Dan then, you know. And Scotty, you know, did awesome then. The last lap, come back and make that as exciting as it was. You know, not as much passing as we all like to see, but, you know, to have that fight to the end is awesome.
Well done, Mitch. When are we going to see you back on a bike in New Zealand?
No ETA at this stage, you know. Always want to race the Taupo. So, but hey, we'll just see how the healing comes along.
All right, good run. Thank you for your expert comments today. Go back and enjoy the festivities back in the Honda pits, and hope to see you again somewhere soon.
Yeah, we'll catch up with you at Manfield.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you. Yes, indeed. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you, Mitch. That'd be awesome to see. So here we are in an opportunity. I've just quickly walked out here with the microphone at the moment because I'm about to catch up with Simon. Simon Crafer's come to join us. Simon already here in his gear. Simon, you had the opportunity to watch New Zealand Superbikes in action. What do you think of the state of our sport at the moment when you just see racing like that?
Well, I'm envious because you've got a track that's pretty good now, you know. Nowadays we had 7 to ride on, but nothing this good. The whole facility really good, and I got to do a few laps. Obviously yesterday for the first time, again today, in a couple of hours, or about an hour or so, we get another go, and it's proper, you know. It's really, really good. So okay, there's a few patches need, you know, a bit of surface needs here and here, but repairing. But yeah, really impressive. It's great to see. Rather than 1 or maybe 2, how it was in my day, fighting away at the front, there's like 5, 6, which is perfect. Because really having, I used to think, oh man, I have to grow up with Andrew Stroud and Aaron Slight, but the thing is, if you've got really hard competition, it pushes you to another level. And when you've got 5 or 6 guys like this, it's perfect, good for everyone.
Great to see you. All right, nice that you mentioned about Hampton Downs, of course, as far as the track's concerned in a venue, but it just suits with this hyperactivity. It's got an epicentre because it actually draws people into the middle of what is the circuit. No, most other circuits in the world, of course, all that's on the outside, but it gets spread so wide. It's almost got a heart, and you can feel the pulse when you're in here. You feel the buildings move, don't you?
Well, I have really, really enjoyed this event, and I hope you guys can keep it going for decades to come, because it's so good to have a proper event that gets. I've seen here. I saw Stroudy's boy win the race. You know, earlier on in the small class, and then you get to see the old boys like us wobble around, and then you get to see the superbikes like we just did. So the cool thing about it is everybody's here, and I've met. You know what I'm saying? It's the only event that you see everybody at.
Great to see. Right, you've seen our little Gixxer Cup, these tiny little Suzukis, 13 horsepower out of them, but you put everybody on those equal bikes. Yesterday, the photo finish here, they were 3 wide. There was only a front wheel in it between those 3 of them. Is that the kind of growth and introduction we want for the sport? Do you see that in other countries?
Definitely. I think really, Aaron Slight and I were talking about it yesterday, and I know Stroudy agrees that, you can waste too much money on thinking, I have to have this and have to have a bigger bike and have to have more. But really, it's all about pushing yourself hard, and it doesn't matter if the bike costs less and it's slower, and it's really about, you know what I'm saying, racecraft, and you're learning battling. And so a lot of countries, including New Zealand, Australia, America, even UK, have fallen behind on bringing the young guys through, and Italy as well fell behind for a while until Valentino's helped in there, you know, with the federation they've got together. But Spain has just taken off, haven't they? That's why they've got so many Spanish riders coming through. Really, New Zealand does need those little classes like we see, you know, 150s and 300s, and it's got to be as cheap as possible so more people can do it.
Awesome, Simon. Thanks for having you with us. We've got a podium to go and do down there, so we've got to do too many jobs. But hey, thanks for being with us, and everybody can still catch up. And that photo, Debbie with you, mate, she'll treasure that. My other photos are gone. I'm a mystery.
Keep up the good work, Neil, and I hope to see you all here again next year.
Oh, Nate, great news. You hear that, folks? You hear that? Simon Craver's back. We're going to the podium.
Well, there, have we got a bit of a scoop? Simon Craver hopes to be back here at the Motorfest next year. It would be great to see. Neil's off down to the podium presentation. Some wonderful trophies down there. You can check them out at that presentation. We've got the sidecar TT coming up very shortly. That's going to be over 12 laps. So once again, twice the distance that they've been doing. And that'll be the Supersport 600 and Superstock 600 TT. They're back to the 15 lap duration. So as I said, it's a sprint, it's a marathon, not a sprint here.
Wow, here we are, folks, here we are. We're the Suzuki fans out there. How that for the 1, 2, 3, just like the glory days. This is the brilliance of the Auckland Club and our super president and Paul Stewart here to do the podium. First of all, Sloan, what did it feel like being behind those guys?
It's never fun being behind anyone, is it? No, I've got to work on the way that I ride the bike, and I'm just using up too much energy with the style that I use and just hanging off too much. So I was going to, somewhere between me and Scotty, I think it would be good, because the second half of that race, I just sort of sat more on the seat and didn't use nearly as much energy, but just wear myself out early. So I don't know how come it's taken so long for me to figure that out.
Your honesty, mate, congratulations, because that's what it is. Motorcycling is an art, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard to blame yourself, you know. It's nice to come back and blame the team, but no, the team done a fantastic job, and the bike's working really well, and Robert done a good job on the suspension, and Shane's out here from Australia too, so it makes a big difference when they turn up.
Let's hear it, folks. Sloane Frost, how's that? Yeah, still a champion in third place there, and the trophy from Paul. Well, Sloane, smile on your face, mate. Was that one of your better races you've ever had?
I mean, it was a good race, you know, led it for a good majority, done the hard work for Dan, you know, enough of my fumes, but went past me, and then I thought I'd better have another crack again at him, and the end didn't have anything for me, you know, he rode well. My tyre was, you know, starting to get a little bit slippery. He made the right tyre choice, so hats off to him. Good race, awesome race.
Hey, it's no fluke the CD Vandermeer Builders Suzuki up here along with those other Suzukis. Just how good are those bikes?
Yeah, I mean, they're good. I mean, look, 1, 2, 3 Suzuki, what more can you say, really? It says itself.
Yeah, great to see. Well done. Let's hear it, folks. Mr. Scott Moyer. Well done. Mate, we told it here yesterday. For inspiration, you looked at that video of last year. How many times? 100, 105?
I watched it probably, I have to say 100 times during the weekend. There's no way I was finishing second up the hill again.
Yeah, here indeed. You learned so much from it. But isn't that what our sport's all about? You're still learning every time you go out on the bike on the racetrack.
Exactly. You know, every time you go out there, you learn. Yeah.
That's right, mate. Terminate call for sidecars.
That happened yesterday, isn't it?
There you go. You've actually got a lady that's more powerful than you, Dan. She can drown you out. But that's a key call for sidecars next. But hey, out on the racetrack, what was the art of the race? What was your control of it? Was it textbook material that you did what you needed to do?
No, I just followed Scotty for the first 3/4 of the race and let him do the hard work. And I could see his tyre was losing a bit of grip. So I didn't actually mean to pass him when I did, but I ran a bit hot into turn 1 and ended up in front. So there was 6 laps to go. So I just managed to gap from there and bring home the win.
Man of that times, he drifted back and then he got closer to you, and then right at the end, you must have smelt him. He was that close.
Yeah, I could hear him in those last few corners, so I was going pretty defensive, but not as defensive as I did in the first race where I made a mistake. So yeah, there's no way I was letting him past.
Here he is. Let's folks, Mr. Auckland. It is Dan Madam. Well done. So there you have it.
Those are the Jeff Perry Memorial, and we'll do that after this.
Okay.
Thanks very much, Neil. Yeah, more TT action here at the Mike Perra Motorfest, and more action off the track as much as they're on. Lucky enough to have Simon up here with us before, and of course Simon these days most known as the pit commentator for MotoGP, but also for his Moto Voodoo training sessions that he does all around the world. Now, as an exclusive here at Hampton Downs, you can get a copy of the DVD and the 2 books for
Phil, just to coming over the top of our apologies for that, but here we go with the one. Here it is, our Jeff Perry Memorial, the one to keep, and there's time. Look at the names around there. That's the title. That's where New Zealand's creme de la creamers, and that's the one, but he gets to keep the other one. Let's hear it. Your Jeff Perry Memorial TT winner, Auckland's Daniel Madam. Well done. The photo shot of that would look spectacular. Look at the brassware. So he's got 2 of those to keep, one that he can put his name on. That's more important, put his name on that. Check it out afterwards. You want a photo with that guy? Can have your photo taken with that Jeff Perry Memorial. We all remember Jeff Perry, one of our greatest, lost far too young in our sport, taken in fact as an accident outside of our sport. So just fantastic to see. There you go. There it is, folks. That is Daniel Meadham. Here we are with Scotty Moyer and now Sloane Frost. That is your TT Superbike title for 2019 right here at Hampton Downs, and the team indeed, of course, MotoFest brought to us by Pero Real Estate.
Thanks very much, Neil. Yeah, just to reiterate, if you want a copy of the Moto Voodoo DVD book and collection,